Well, good morning, guys, and welcome to the show. Fernando.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Today we are going to take a look at the new Epic 4 channels. That's right, 4 channels. Meaning we have a couple boxes here. We're going to dig deep into them, explain to you what the differences are, and maybe find the right amplifier for you. But before we do that, let's roll the intro. So our good friends at AudioControl have introduced the Epic series, which we've talked about in the past. We've looked at some of them. We've explained some of the cool features on the mono blocks. But today we are going to dig into these 4 channels. We have the brand new, I'm excited about, Big 4. And then we have the previous 4 channel that is currently available and you can get. But there's some changes to it and we're going to cover that as well. Where to start? We're going to start with this guy right here. So anytime you come out with a big, fancy, fun mono block, you need a 4 channel so you can power all your other speakers in the car or possibly your fronts, maybe a 3-way, so you're gonna go 2 of these, make an 8 channel. There's a ton of combinations you can do. This is the Epic 4. This is the OG. This is the original in that series. And you're going, why is he emphasizing that? Well, because there are some changes to one that is sitting over there. Built for Epicenter. That's why it's called the Epic. And they have the Epic link. But as well, you know what? Let's just open this thing up. But before we do that, it's 4x100 at 4 ohms, 4x200 at 2 ohms. And you can bridge it to a 2 channel and get a, holy cow, 200 watts times 4 according to the top of the box. Engineered for epic sound, seismic reinforcement may be necessary. You're gonna need some bass. Back side of the box, there again, one of my favorite features is a blowout for the end here so I can see what it has, and if it's mounted in some strange place I can look at this blueprint and know what I'm dealing with. If I move it to the other side of the box, power ratings again, signal to noise ratio, line level inputs 6 volts, line level, this does not have high level, this is a line level only, meaning you got to put RCAs into this. Crossover, variable 12 dB per octave, Linkwitz Riley. Epic series amplifiers are designed for maximum clean power output when combined with AudioControl original best-selling digital bass restoration processor, the Epicenter, and the Epic series mono blocks. The resulting sound will be epic. The Epicenter not included. With all of the reading out of the way, let's open it up and take a look inside. First thing, have this beautiful blue box, piece of foam on top to protect the amplifier. Amplifier's inside. Underneath the amplifier, we have the instruction manual. And if you go to the last page and you've made it this far, see ya! For more information, located here also. Flipping it over gives you the information we've learned so far, along with solid power speaker terminals with head screws, and boom, you're not ready for this. Opening it up explains to us what all of the terminals are for, how to bridge it, where the crossovers are, how to turn them up. One of the features that they're very excited about is the Smart Auto Reset Protection. Epic series amplifiers feature a robust protection circuit to protect the amplifier from low, high voltage, unexpected short circuits, and other potential electrical or thermal hazards. The Smart Auto Reset Protection Circuit offers the following protection: output over current protection, input over voltage protection, input under voltage protection, output offset protection, and over temperature protection. So it's a pretty robust little circuit. Talks about installation, proper fusing, and then how to connect your speakers to the amplifier. One of the things about this amplifier series that I find most appealing is its clean look. I really dig it's just Epic 4. These are raised here that come out of the amplifier. The semi-shiny brush look, and then you have this flat. It just looks clean and nice and very audio control-y to me. Let's take a look on the side of the amplifiers. 4-gauge ground and power, 8-gauge remote. Yeah, it is. It's just a thing. It's how these things are made now. Our 4 speaker terminals, 1 and 2 on top, 3 and 4 on the bottom. Positives are the solid white dots. Negatives are the hollow white dots. It does have a plus and a minus in it, and it goes positive, negative, positive, negative. Bridged are going to be the positives on the outside and the negatives on the outside. Flipping it over to the other side, first up, power and protect and maximize lights. Our 4 inputs. Input mode, 2-channel or 4-channel. Depending on how you're gonna run this amplifier, you may only need to put channels 1 and 2 in and not 3 and 4. If you're gonna do that, you can flick that to 2-channel. If you're planning on monoing this amplifier, so it's just a 2-channel amplifier. If you want right and left, leave it on 4-channel and use Y connectors, because it is still going to pass just left for here, right for here, and you want left and right. Keep that in mind. First set of controls, gain crossover between off 50 and 500 hertz for channels 1 and 2. The same for channels 3 and 4. This is the version 1 of the Epic 4. So if you see an amplifier like this, you're like, what is the difference between version 1 and version 2? It is right here with this crossover bank. To show you what I mean, we have the version 2. Box-wise has all the same information, except for when we flip it over and go to, there again, my favorite part of the amplifier packaging, we have way more controls than we did on version 1. Let's jump inside and we'll show you what they are. Packaging wise, the same. Instruction manual is going to be updated for the new additions. This is the sticker that comes in the box. It comes in all the boxes. And that scenario I just told you guys about as far as bridging it, it's actually right here on page 12. Every now and then a manufacturer will come out with a product and they'll be like, hey, I think we can make it better. Let's go over it. Looking on the power input side, it is the same. They haven't changed anything here. You still have your positive, negative, channel 1 and 2, channel 3 and 4. When we flip it over though, and boom, there we go. We have a ton more stuff. Power and protector still here. Channels 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 2-channel, 4-channel switch. But now we have all these dials. What do they do? The first thing up is HPF range, or high pass filter range. It says 1 times. It says 10 times. If it's out, it's 1 times. If it's in, it's 10 times. I've talked about this switch in the past in some of the videos. Does your amplifier have a 10-time multiplier switch? What that does is the range for the high pass filter is off 50 to 500. With this button out, it is going to be 50 to 500. With this button in, it is now going to be 500 to 5000. This is allowing you to hook a tweeter without a passive crossover up to these channels. Next up, we have LPF range, which is low pass filter range, and it also has a 10-time multiplier switch. 50 to 500. With it pushed in, we now have 500 to 5000. This is a band pass crossover. This is going to allow us to set up a top and a bottom for whatever speaker we're going to put it on. For that, if we were going to hook up a set of tweeters, we would want a high pass filter with a 10-time multiplier switch on. A tweeter is usually somewhere between 3200 and 5000. And then we would leave the low pass off. If we are going to be doing a mid-range or a mid-bass, we need to have a bandpass for that. Click on the 10-time multiplier switch for the low pass. We'd set this to mirror whatever we did here, and then we would leave this off and turn it to between 60 and 80 hertz. There's a lot you can do with a bandpass crossover, and it really expands the potential of the Epic 4. So if it's a feature you need, you might want to start looking at a V2. Or if you're going, that is an awesome feature, however, I don't know, I feel like I need more power. We have the Epic Big 4. That's right, big. This thing is a monster. We now have 4 by 200 watts at 4 ohms, 4 by 350 watts at 2 ohms, or if for some crazy reason you want to bridge this thing, we now have 2 by 650. There's really not a crazy reason, because keep in mind we could still do a 3-channel with these amplifiers, and so we could have a amplifier that does channels 1 and 2 up front at 200 watts, and channels 3 and 4 are bridged to 650 watts going off to a subwoofer. That is still an option, and we're going to talk about a really cool combination that might make sense for. But first, let's flip it around and see what this thing says. On the back, there again, favorite picture. We have even more features than we did on the V2 4-channel. What is all this? Let's open it up and find out. Really nice blue packaging, foam on top, instruction manual, and this one says you're definitely not ready for this right here. And then in typical audio control fashion, they put this little slogan right here that says, that's enough suspense for one page. Go ahead, turn the page and unlock the next level of configuration greatness. Audio control manuals are always fun. This page says Advanced Noble Reader, Destiny, and the next page awaits. Gives you some system configs. All of the things that the other manual has in it, along with the sticker, are inside of this guy. In this box, though, as you can see, it's bigger for a reason. The amplifier, it's about the same size. It's not that much bigger. And for those of you keeping track at home, the regular is going to the feet about 9 3/8. Going to the feet on the big, we're looking at about 10.5. Height wise on these guys are 2 inches, and depth is about 6 1/8. These two amplifiers make a pretty nice little combination pair depending on how you might want to run these guys. We'll come back to that. Looking at the end of the amplifier, ground, power, remote, but now we have the epicenter link built into it, which is for this cable right here. Before we talk about that, speaker configuration, positive, negative, 1 and 2 on the top, 3 and 4 on the bottom, bridged are still the outside. This is the Epic Link. It is about a 1 meter cable that plugs into the side of the amplifier and will provide you with a constant 12 volts, a ground, and a remote turn on out. Comes with the 3-pin that comes on the Epicenter Concert. However, that could come off, and the 4-pin for your LC5i, LC7i, Epicenter Micro, LC2i Pro, DM810 can be connected to this to power it up as well. The reason why those have 4 as opposed to 3 is they have a remote turn on out that you can go off and turn on another amplifier with. But this streamlines the installation and makes it look much more clean, and it's a really cool idea. Power protect, channel 1, 2, 3, 4 inputs are here. This has the exact same crossover as the Epic 4 we just looked at, your 2-channel, 4-channel, but it adds this remote level control located right here. And what that's used for is to control the volume on channels 3 and 4. If you want to do that 3-channel mode, this will give you full control of channels 3 and 4, so you can have that 650 watts go off to a subwoofer, and that 200 watts at 4 ohm go off to another channel, not be affected by this volume knob. You could also use this without the volume knob to give you a monster amount of power to, let's say, some of the new Epic speakers. If you want to put a ton of power to a bunch of tweeters and a ton of power to a bunch of mid-range, running it down to 2 ohm, you can do that and get that 350 watts to it. One system that I think sounds really neat though is if you take the big 4 and the regular 4, so just like we talked about, we can take channels 1 and 2, use a 10-time multiplier switch to create a tweeter crossover. This is a smaller amount of power, so that would be perfect. And then we could take channels 3 and 4, put them on a mid-range using the bandpass crossover to properly align those frequencies. And then we can use channels 1 and 2 on this with that tons of power to go off to a big mid-bass. And then we have channels 3 and 4 on this bridged to a subwoofer getting 650 watts to some subs. What we've essentially created is a really awesome 7-channel combination. It is fully active crossover. It's not huge, and it's extremely affordable. If we want to take it one step further, we grab the Epicenter link, grab ourselves a Concert Series Epicenter, put it on the inputs to 3 and 4, and now we have like crazy awesome bass for just about any situation you can imagine. No unboxing would be complete without taking the backs off and showing you some gut shots. So what we have here is the V1 and the V2. You can see this little board here that was added for the active crossovers, but otherwise the amplifiers look very similar. We'll pause here a moment so that if you want to zoom in and do all the looky-loos that you like. Next up, let's set these guys aside for a second and we'll take a look at the big 4. We'll zoom in so you can pause the video and jump in and see what it looks like. And finally, for those of you that want to see what the big looks like next to the regular 4, there you have it. Definitely look at the size of this power supply compared to that guy. And there you have it, guys, the Epic 4 channels and all that they can do for you. Version 1, version 2, Big 4. Hopefully one of these is what you've been looking for in a 4-channel. You can head over to AudioControl.com and check them out and see what other amplifiers they have, such as the big new Epic 4000, which hopefully we'll be taking a look at soon. But that's all we have for today, guys. Fernando.
On to the next one, guys.
Thank you so much for watching as always. You have a great night, and we'll see you there next time. Bye.